history of Guild electric guitars from 1953 to 1993. So real quick, those of you who have not watched many of our videos, Rocktown Music, we're a retail store, we're a dealer for about 15 brands of guitars. I've played Guild guitars since I was a teenager and recorded many records, 5 original musics, and I had a band called Liberator, which is a guitar that Guild actually made. And there's pictures of me just giving you an idea. I've played all over the United States. There's one where you can tell the rental systems in Oklahoma. I think one's California, this guy's Minnesota. That guy, I believe, is near Montana. All over. So where did I get my information? Well, as a repair guy and builder, but also talking to guys I met at Guild and these cut sheets Guild put out. I collected these. So this is a 70s one telling you about the guitars. This is an 80s one, and we're going to look at every one of these guitars, actually. So again, Guild. Al Drone started the company in really 52 and started building them, got a plant, and he was a jazz guy. He went after all the famous jazz guys, and he got most of them because the guitars were really well built and great guitars built in New York. But he kind of realized that they couldn't really do some things. They didn't really have the builders to do acoustics and thin bodies and stuff. So by the mid-50s, you could see they had improved, but they were still stuck with the P90s. Still a great guitar. This is called a Slim Jim 100. But when you look closely at the guitar behind it, it's 10 years newer. So this is the 60s, and here's what happened. They moved to New Jersey, and the reason they moved is Epiphone got bought by the Gibson Company. And Ted McCarty, who was the CEO of Gibson at the time, actually wrote in a book that Guild and Epiphone, he thought, probably built better guitars than they did. So he wanted to buy one of those two companies. Well, Al wasn't going to sell his company. Epiphone ended up getting bought. And as a result, they fired everybody at Epiphone, closed the factory, and Al, being a great businessman and understanding their patents, took some of their best guys. And when you put these side by side, it may be hard to see in a video, and later on we'll do a comparison video of some of these. Again, in this video we're not going to do our normal where we plug them all in, because we got to cover about 50 guitars, but you see that they went to humbuckers, and the wood is just a little better quality wood. You can hear it when it's plugged in. So that's just a 10-year difference on the same guitar. You start to really see Guild coming into their own as an electric company, because they were really, again, known for jazz and acoustics. So the blues guy started playing in the 50s, Muddy Waters, and he loved the interesting shaped Guilds. So he played a Thunderbird. I believe I've seen him play this one. It's called a Polara from the 60s. Very interesting guitar. They actually put a built-in thing so you can use it as a stand. It's kind of weird. Don't have the barn right now, but they're getting into the solid bodies because that's what the guys in the 60s really wanted. So now we're going to fast forward into when they really started coming into their own as a solid body manufacturer, into the 70s. This is a C80. Carl Perkins played these. Amazing guitar. Now this one's been modified. It originally had 2 switches here that would have let you switch the polarity of these. But an amazing all solid body guitar, set neck, and very rare. And then the next thing you're going to see is by the 80s something happened. They went after the hard rock guys, Twisted Sister, Motley Crue, and so they wanted having the unique things, the unique shape. Also, they went to the Kahler whammies, which are great. They stay in tune. The whammy's not there, but it screws in there. Amazing guitar. I'll show you what the whammy looks like on another guitar. This is an amazing guitar. They made around 40 of these, I believe. This is the X100 or Blade Runner. This is one of the very few guitars to ever be shown at the New York Metropolitan Art Museum. Also, you may recognize this. Joe Perry played this in the Walk This Way video with Run DMC in the 80s. Very famous. They made 3 colors, white as well. Was lucky to acquire that. Also available in pink. Only seen one of those though. That's a guitar I built, shouldn't be there. Violin my grandpa built. Some music his son, my dad's grandpa, wrote songs and fixed stuff. And this is, now we're getting into the 80s Guilds. You start to see more Kahlers, more hard rock pickups like that. Now we're going to jump back just for a second because I want to compare 70s to 80s. So this guy right here is a guitar I've gigged hundreds and hundreds of gigs with up until last year. And this guitar, 70s, split. This is an original pickup. This one actually broke, so I replaced it. It's all original though, except for that part. One piece, set neck. Amazing guitar. And what's interesting is in the 80s, the guitars look the same, shape-wise, they are, but different woods. They're no longer using ebony, but they give you more cool stuff. DiMarzio pickups, still can phase, but now you can put the pickups into single coil. Absolutely crazy cool guitar, very heavy though. So let's compare this model, which a lot of people recognize as an SG. Guild made these in the late 60s. This one's a 1970 S90. And all that means is it's got 2 knobs, volume and tone, instead of 4. The S100 has controls for both pickups, and they get you back that phasing, which is cool. This is the same guitar, but with the Hagstrom. Built these tremolos for Guild. It's got the tremolo. Very cool guitar. 74, this is the Bluesbird R75. Also original pickups, split, very cool. This is the same thing, but the upgraded version. Very cool guitar. And we're going to skip back to this guy really quick. So Buddy Guy, who played with Muddy Waters was already playing Guild, and Buddy actually played a Starfire, which I own one of those. It's a full hollow. But he wanted to start using distortion, and he wanted something chambered so it wouldn't feed back. So Guild, for his birthday, came up with this bad boy, which has got his birthday on it, and also it's serial number 5. So they made 40 of these. Very cool guitar, splittable DiMarzios. Buddy played these for a lot of years. I've seen him play many times. I've seen him use this guitar actually. Kind of amazing. Now he switched to Fender. I'm sure he got paid a little to do that. And he said very famously once in an interview that he loves the guys at Fender and they make okay guitars, but when he wants to sound great, he gets his Guilds out. I love that. Other great guitar players, Roy Buchanan, who was a great 70s, 80s guitar player, wanted a Guild. And so Guild made him this. And then they made another version called the T250, which is the Roy Buchanan just without a signature. Very cool, unique pickup blend. And again, going back 70s to 80s, same model, 275. This one's just a little cooler color. And believe it or not, these are the original pickups, even though they don't look like it. And then matching every way except for this guy's got the 2 switches instead of the 1. This is a modified 80s beautiful M80, similar to the one we looked at before from the 70s, but this one is arched a little more and it's cut a little deeper. Also 24 frets, which is something Guild started to do a lot. So again, a 70s versus an 80s. This is the X79, which they started making in the 70s until the mid 80s. Very cool guitar. This one has the Kahler, this one does not. That's the big difference between those two. This is the same guitar as this in how it was cut, but then they reversed it, so the cut goes this way instead of that way, the bigger part, the horn. This is called a Swan guitar. It's a prototype. Now they're going to EMGs on this. This also, on this one, they went flame maple instead of mahogany. Beautiful guitar. Now, the Harvey Citron, who is one of the builders and designers at Guild, came up with some weird things. He's really the forerunner to Steinberger. So you still have the really cool Kahler you can stand tune. But now they're really getting into EMGs. 5 position and go, wow, that looks really weird. Well, he wanted you to be able to travel with it and make it into multiple guitar shapes. You can flip it, you can do all these crazy things. This just plugs in here, and then all of a sudden you got a whole different guitar. So I'm going to set that down here. I don't want to set it on that because it just makes it fall down. So it's kind of hard to stand up. And boom. Now we're going to move back into some mid-80s guitars. In the 80s, a lot of the hard rock fusion jazz guys wanted to play Guilds, but they wanted the cool colors. So Guild did pink, and they did the EMGs and the Kahler. This one's unique because it has the distortion on it. You can turn the volume up plus volume and tone like normal. Very cool guitar, Kahler. Again, I don't have the bars in because it's easier to show them. This one's the same guitar, but with the Sustainiac. Now, my favorite Guilds, the Liberators. My band, as the poster would give you the idea. So, originally Guild came up with something called a Detonator. It looks just like this guitar, but instead of being a set neck, it's a bolt-on with cheaper woods, cheaper pickups. I wanted a thinner neck in EMGs. So in the original ones, it doesn't say anything. It just says the Guild. In fact, the original cut sheet, that's what it says. Then in another cut sheet, they kind of explain how my band name got on there, but we'll skip over all that today. It's kind of cool that it's my initials. And basically, same guitar, but I wanted ash. The maple is a little bright. This is more what I was looking for. Now this is a later one where they went to switching instead of a 5-way for studio players. They also made the same guitar. I'll show you the original one. EMGs is how it would have been made originally. What's really cool is splittable pickups. This lifts up and down, turning this into a single coil pickup. Really gives you versatile tones. Again, all one piece. Sprizzle locking tuners on all of them. Great guitars. I've played maybe 3,000 gigs with this particular guitar and probably 3,000 with that one as well. Then in the 90s, they wanted to get some less expensive guitars. So what they did is they had, I believe this has to be Harvey Citron. If anybody knows, feel free to put that on there in the comments. It has all the earmarks of something he would do. Burnside, these are Korean built, still pretty well made. I love how these play without a bolt on. Really cool guitars. This one's for sale, some of these are, so you can always email and ask if you're interested in some of these. Some of them are mine and I want to keep. Here's another one for sale at the store. This is, again, beautiful Lee, amazing. Non-original pickups, they would have just had Korean pickups, but this one's got some USA pickups in it, pretty cool. This is one, I'm not sure what the year on this one is. I think this one's probably 90. George Gruen designed these. He came aboard for a while. EMG's beautiful guitar. Also in the late 80s, Brian May of Queen, who was using a lot of Guild acoustics, befriended some people at Guild. I'm not sure who exactly, but somebody, and they were allowed to examine his guitar and measure ohms and take the guitar apart, measure density, and they wanted to make a duplicate. Most people say this is the most accurate of that era anybody had ever made of his guitar. So Seymour Duncan's, it's got the phasing switches like Brian has on his original guitar he built. Set neck signature, amazing guitar, and as usual, Guild usually did something a little more simplified. Still USA made, still set neck, but now just a 5 position, still Seymour Duncan's, but still a great guitar. So Guild really until 93 was really doing great guitars. I think they're one of the more underrated solid body builders, and I sell 14 brands of guitars now. I've toured the factory. I sat next to both Bills, which means the VP of Fender, Bill, and the Bill, the president of Guild. And I gleaned a lot of information hanging out at different Guild programs and, of course, the East Coast factory. So, that being said, if you guys have any questions, you can email rocktownmusic.net. Some of these are for sale. We love comments, try to keep it positive because we're just showing it today. We didn't spend a lot of time comparing like on our other videos. But if you like the video, like and subscribe, and we'll keep spending our time making these for you.